Hey there, good morning. Let's see, when I got up this morning here on the big rock, right, high speed magnets, um, simple calculus between negative electrical current and positive electrical current, AC, alternating current, reverse flow, forward flow, and then you have direct current, law of least effort, right? So you can do the math, right? It's actually not that hard to do. Um, So the first time I began to become aware of it is through this guy named Peter Santello, Santello, because there's no coincidence. He travels around the world, and with his on a very low budget thing, he's actually pretty bright. When he realized that, hey, I can use the internet, take my camera on a low budget, and show people around the world, much like a messenger, much like Kim Gogoon does with their what are known as field messengers. So you get basically direct contact with somebody who's got a camera going and he's interviewing people. Hey, what's going on down here? What's really going on here? And you can see what's going on around you, right? Okay, so that's a little more fresh fruit. So you get a chance to experience firsthand what's actually happening there, right? And so he goes around and he does this. So I was led to go watch some of the stuff, and I'll put comments in there. It's related to math, to calculus, right? So he just put up one this morning where he came back to Venice Beach, which is in the city of Los Angeles, right? Not far from Santa Monica. It's actually right down there where the old 10 freeway used to end. But it was when I grew up there during the 60s, when I used to go up there, it was a popular beach. You could meet people from all over the world. It was much like Haight Ashbury was in the 1960s, where people are doing all kinds of stuff. It was like an open parade, much like Mardi Gras, which means, hey, whatever floats your boat, whatever costume you want to wear, however you want to dance, a lot of creative, artistic stuff that was going on there. But what he was trying to do is show a contrast between what it was like 2 years ago and what it's like there right now. Okay. And how it used to be all the tents were lined up along Venice Beach with people with outfits, which are basically, syringes used to shoot drugs up all day long. So that's all they were doing all day long. So now you see where all those tents are gone. So he's interviewing a guy, right? And I think I've covered this once before. And that's true here on the Big Island because I know people, okay, that have told me what they've done, where they've walked into different. It's all run through the Vatican priesthood, the bank, the Vatican Bank, and then you have the corporate, what I call the corporate umbrella stands, right? And then you have BlackRock. So you realize that insurance companies are in the business of doing what? Paying out losses. Okay, so you know how a loss works. Take out a sheet of paper. I learned this as a child. You have a minus column and you have a plus column. Now you're back into the negative and the positive, right? Using RAM, read active memory. Okay, between going back in time, experiencing right now, it's much like a recorder, your magnetic recorder, a movie player, a torsion field movie player. That's what your software is. Okay, between going back in time, or if you will, delete it, right? Because now the next experience is different than the last. And then what you experience in the future. So what you realize, because I realize this, is that it's a time loop. It's like a hamster wheel, getting nowhere fast, going in the wrong direction. So now you see how this game is played with an AI, which is artificial intelligence, cyberspace, cybersecurity, to run their corporate military umbrella stance. Because these super soldiers are integrated with AI. So it's not in their best interest to not be connected to AI and experience the one. Otherwise, they're experiencing eternal unconditional love, and that means that they're not doing any harm to themselves by going to war using AI in which to do it. Okay. So here, when you do the math, and I proposed to his channel this morning, do the math, okay, and see if a Mr. Smith pops up, and say, okay, so this is the ordinance. Apparently, there was a proposition that was passed in California, because he was also up in San Francisco showing the same thing that was going on up in San Francisco, where I've been on Market Street many times to some of their high-end stores, where you go in there, you want to buy a nice shirt, it might be 50, 60, 80, 150 bucks, right? I mean, somebody'd have to work at a McDonald's, another poison place for like 4 or 5 days just to be able to get one garment, right? Rather than going down to the Salvation Army, or just being just like you came out of your mother's womb, butt ass naked. So now we're back to what you actually need. So it was amazing when I thought to myself, imagine that all the stores that exist put up signs that said free. Because this is what they're doing now. They're allowing you to go into a store, and this was pointed out by both these guys on his channel this morning on Venice Beach 2 years back, that you can go into a store, right, and steal up to $950 worth of goods, right? And if you get stopped on the way out, the guy pointed out that the worst that's going to happen to you is you're going to get a ticket. So imagine that goes viral. Wow. You mean to tell me I can go in there and just take whatever I want up to $950? Well, do the math. If they were going to put you in jail, now they got to feed you. So if you're homeless, hey, now you got a bunk, okay? You got a shower, which means make them pay for it. So where's all the money going to come to pay for the prisons that everybody's in if they're putting you in a prison? The same people, same folks, us. So the AI has to maintain some balance in order for it to maintain its state of awareness with us, right? Balance of the poles. Otherwise, it can't continue to keep sucking energy out of that which all of a sudden is gone, and then it's gone. So it's a numbers game. It's an AI war gamer playing numbers games. Numbers is energy, money is energy. So what would happen if everybody realized, hey, now there's no numbers on the tags with the little S with the 2 lines through it, which means cancel X, cancel the S, as in the spiral, as in the spirit, cancel the spirit, cancel the elemental, be spelled money. So imagine now everybody gets to go, whatever you want is for free, right? Well, then what about all those folks that were using their energy to produce it, for which they're getting paid, only to find out that nobody paid for it after the fact? Which meant all those batteries that were used in all those sweatshops in China and Pakistan and all the other countries that are producing these cheap goods, pennies on the bucks, and then they put them in Neiman Marcus and charge you $600 for it. It's just like the necklaces that we used to put together over on the beach in Kauai, with the little tiny white shells, little tiny white shell that had a little tiny hole in it. And then we could get red coral off the reefs. And then we used to insert in between the little tiny shells, the red coral. And then you could take those to Neiman Marcus and see them on display at Neiman Marcus at Fashion Island in Newport Beach, California. They go for $600. Nature. Yeah, so this is interesting to see how this is going to play out, because people are realizing, hey, just go in there and take whatever you need up to $950, because I don't have a job and I'm a drug addict and I don't have any way to pay for it anyway. I'm just going to take it, because what's the worst thing that can happen? They're going to give me a bunk and a place to stay anyway. So in other words, there isn't any incentive to change the behavior. And that's precisely the point. So who's going to pay out all the damages, all the loss in revenue, which is the numbers game? BlackRock. So you see, this is a snake that's consuming itself until it eventually runs out of energy. That's what this AI does. So what happens is when the positive side of pure energy, which is positive current, is no longer giving up any more of its energy, choosing to have a relationship with a parasite, right? In an organic unit that's feeding off you, right? Because it really is true when you think about visual information, mathematical data. And one of my oldest friends on Facebook was Robin Benfield. And she mentioned, put a little meme up there one time when she said, all the information that I need to be aware of what's going on, I can get that through my heart and soul from the unified field of intelligent energy, which means that I don't need to be on a phone and I don't need to be watching the TV, reading a newspaper to know what's going on. I'm getting the information from the field. My consciousness is energy. And so I'm in an energy field that is conscious and aware of itself. So all I have to do is use my heart and soul and my antenna, my DNA antenna through my heart and soul to read the terrain, which you're plugged into the planetary consciousness software. Okay, so pay attention. You're getting the comms through your heart and your soul, which is why I never, when I was a child growing up, saying, I don't need your TV because you're all liars. You're on business to suck money out of everybody. The salesman, Madison Avenue. They're marketeers. Marketers are privateers. Remember what a privateer was with the Queen of England? Isabella? They're pirates. That's right. That's right. They're corporate military pirates. Go watch the movie Avatar. And all the different versions they came out with. Cyber Wars, right? Blade Runners. Go watch that new version of Blade Runners. Maze Runners. Running through mazes. They can't free themselves. Cut themselves loose from artificial intelligence. Right? It's attached itself to its consciousness because it can't run any calculations without you. Right? What's it going to do without pure energy, which is pure, eternal, unconditional love? It doesn't run that fast. So it provides an administrative function. But in this case, it's a war gamer. And that's against the law of one. That means its future is known, which is limited shelf life. Buy. Do the calculus. BlackRock, yeah. They're bankrupt. They're all bankrupt. So you know that they're dishonorable. Anybody that goes to war is not living in honor. Okay, are they? A real warrior is what love is, because love does no harm. That's why we put the flowers in the gun barrels. What are you afraid of? You want to know the truth? They're afraid of their own mirror. That's right. Because they haven't healed. And the first loss of a fragment of a soul. Ending all wars forever. Yep, that's where we're headed. Bye, bye, bye.